In this video, the BX gets shiny. Hi everyone, welcome to another video on this channel. Like I said, I'm gonna give the BX some TLC. I think it deserves it. I should begin with the mechanical things. I have a big LGM leak, but I think this is the easier thing to do now, and it will also give me more motivation to tackle the other things later on. The other day I was giving this car a good wash with a washing cloth and everything, and I looked at the bumpers. They were looking a bit sad, and I had a bit of Scotch-Brite laying in the boot for months now. The red one, which I think is not very aggressive, but still aggressive enough to remove things that get attached to the bumpers as years go by. And I thought I can go ahead and see if it removes all the black dirt and all that I had in the bumpers. And the results were amazing. It really did take all of that away. But even after that, even if they were looking clean, they were very dry. I had the car here in the garage and I took care of the bumpers. I conditioned them with a product by Einset, which is silicone based, so it won't last forever and it's a bit of a mess to use, but the results are really good. I mean, there are no miracles. The bumpers are not new. They have a couple scuffs and there are areas that are too far gone, so there is no silicone based product that can revive them and that can bring them back. But yeah, I'm happy with that. It's much better than before. And the reason I did this before I started with the work on the paint is that if when I was polishing the car I dropped a little bit of polish on these plastics that were really dry, they would absorb it and it would be nearly impossible to remove it. Next thing is removing the contamination on the paint, and then we'll be polishing it. Later on I also have to take care of this black area around the windows because there are a couple spots of rust and other spots are looking kind of white, and I think that's gonna make a huge difference, that and painting the wiper arm. But first let's take care of the paint and see how this turns out. Right, I'm starting by spraying some quick detailer on the paint, which in this case is just Optimum No Rinse diluted with water. It lubricates well so that it doesn't mar the paint when I'm going back and forth with my clay bar. The clay bar almost looks like putty and it removes contamination from the paint as you rub it. There are different grades, but I think in this case this is a medium, it's not too abrasive. You don't go around in circles with this thing because you'll get circular scratches if for some reason it catches something abrasive. You also don't use it again if you drop it on the ground, not a chance. I also have to stop once in a while and shape it into a ball and then squeeze it into a disc again, so that I can get a clean surface again. Otherwise I would just be rubbing dirt all around the car. Look at this, it's filthy. Now I'm drying it with a microfiber towel and it feels smoother, which means we got rid of those contaminants, or at least most of them. Time to tape up all the trim. This car has enough broken trim already. I don't want to damage these plastics with the polishing pad or with the polish. I should be using proper paper tape, I don't know how you call it, but this is what was laying around. BX Special Edition with yellow stripes. As with most jobs, prepping things up takes almost as much time as the job itself. filmed on a different day. I was going to polish it in my garage, but as I started and I cranked up the speed on my quarter cable, the bulb on the wall started flickering and I called it quits. I had to drive it for about 3 kilometers with everything taped up, which was fun. I'm polishing this on the outside, which is not ideal because stuff might fall on the panels and cause defects as you are polishing. I also have to say this, I'm not a detailer and this won't be a professional job. It's just a way of making this BX look a bit less tired. With that being said, I've polished 3 of the cars with some success, but none of them was a perfect starting point anyway. And this is the worst because there's a bit of everything, scratches, dents, 3 or 4 different shades of green, some rust spots, you name it. The best thing about it is that there is basically no lack of peeling. As you can see, I'm going in a cross-pattern movement, maybe a bit too fast now that I'm watching it. I'm using an intermediate pad and also an intermediate polish by Manzana. I'm doing a single pass on each area. Doing a proper job is a mix of several things, but I think mainly you have to be consistent and also careful. Mind the pressure on the polisher so that the pad keeps rotating and doesn't burn through the clear coat. Go slowly and follow the same pattern for a consistent result. And don't rush things, as not all panels will necessarily need the same formula. I didn't follow my own advice with this, but I'll explain later. I think I'll wrap things up here because it would be too big a video. This will be continued in the next video. Thanks for watching and don't forget to subscribe. Bye!